This is the Barbecue Central Radio Show, which is recorded live each Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Barbecue Central Radio Show is being brought to you by The Barbecue Guru, the original creators of automatic temperature control devices, now offering 4 different models for you to choose from. Rest easy knowing that The Barbecue Guru is controlling your pit temperature so you can get on with your life. Visit bbqguru.com or call 800-288-GURU for more information. And by Fred's Music and Tasty Licks BBQ Supply, your online barbecue and grilling superstore. From cookers to grills, wood chips and chunks, and everything in between. Also be sure to try the Tasty Licks barbecue brand of rubs and sauces. Check Fred out online at tastylicksbbq.com. And by Stephen DeFranco Jewelers. Located in beautiful Willoughby, Ohio, Stephen DeFranco Jewelers is a family-owned and operated business looking to service the great folks of the barbecue and grilling world. Get free shipping and big discounts by mentioning my name and the term Barbecue Brother. Check out their inventory by visiting StephenDeFranco.com. And by Butcher Barbecue, with 30 years of experience in retail, wholesale, meat markets, food service, and customer service. Using that experience, everything they do and sell at Butcher's Barbecue comes from real-world knowledge. Check out their award-winning spices, sauces, marinades, and injections by visiting ButcherBBQ.com. Always trust your butcher. And by Green Mountain Grills. Discover something you'll really, really love. Grilling with pellets. Green Mountain pellet grills are the top of the line, best of the best, but not the highest in price. And be sure to check out all of their flavor rubs, sauces, and pellets for the Green Mountain Grill, all on their website. Visit greenmountaingrills.com to peruse the entire products portfolio. And by Barbecuer's Delight Wood Pellets. 2/3 oak, 1/3 flavor wood, giving you that perfect combination of BTU burn and sweet, succulent smoke you're looking to get all over your meat. A wide variety of flavors, so please go to the website to check it out and get yours today. Barbecuer's Delight, which is bbqrsdelight.com.
This is Marley Rampy, and you're listening to Barbecue Central.
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right, good evening and welcome to the really big Barbecue Central Show. This is the show that talks about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling, broadcasting live and direct from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. Rapidly becoming known as the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday. If you want to get in touch with me tonight, 877-448-0433. You can also email the show if you want to, greg@thebbqcentralshow.com. Those are your 2 bits of contact information. Should you want to jump in tonight, jam-packed show as always, and here's what's happening. Coming up at about 13 minutes from now, Derrick Riches, bbq.about.com, the guy who typically has one of the most revered jobs ever in the history of barbecue and grilling, will join us to recap the HPBA Expo, or the HPBA Expo, whatever you call it these days, the Home Hearth Patio Barbecue Exposition that took place last week in Florida. He was there taking in all the sights and the sounds and all of the merriment, if you will, and we'll get his take on what went down this past week at HPB. 35 past the hour, Dan Richard, pitmaster of Blazin Blues Barbecue and the winner at the first annual Smokin At The Run. We're going to get his recap of the weekend. I'm going to get into that here in just a second. Then we go into the second hour, 14 past 10 o'clock. Chris Capell, who has been on the show once or twice before. He is the pitmaster of Dizzy Pig Barbecue Competition Cooking Team and the owner of Dizzy Pig Barbecue, Dizzy Pig HPBABBQ.com, the website most well known for the rubs. I mean, you can find them anywhere, everywhere. Crazily successful when it comes to the rub aspect, and he doesn't do too shabby in the competition world either. So we're going to talk to Chris about the all ceramic cooking class that he has coming up. We'll obviously get some background about the company, how they're growing, what his competition sites look like for 2013, all of the good stuff. So there you go. 877-448-0433. Greg at the BBQCentralShow.com are the two ways to get in touch with me. Everything else about the show can be found at the website, the BBQCentralShow.com. All right, you're listening to the show again, once again, audio form, but I swear, hell or high water, next week, we will be back full go. I'm not going to get in all the nerdy details about exactly what is wrong with the system, but we've been able to pinpoint exactly what is wrong. What the experts say is wrong. Since I'm not a computer expert, I can't sit here and agree with anybody, per se, but I'll take their word for it, and I'll pay them handsomely. We should be able to get everything back up and running next week. Now, coincidentally, that might as well coincide with being able to stream live on Roku as well. I'm going to have to talk with Kevin Bevington about that, the guy that owns OutdoorCookingChannel.com, but I believe he is in the midst of a transition starting tomorrow that will allow us to do at least the streaming on Roku live as well. So if you like IP television, if you have the Roku device, and you want to check me out on the big screen, I don't know why you'd want to, you might have that luxury as well. I'll keep you up to date on that. Of course, you can follow me on Facebook. You follow me on Twitter, a number of the social media type stuff, and I'll keep you updated throughout the week. All right. This past weekend, I was at the Smokin At The Run barbecue competition in Miami, Oklahoma. Folks, a rousing success. Rousing success. David Qualls was on the show a couple weeks ago just to hype up the show a little, or hype up the event just a little bit, but really in the end, didn't need it. It was sold out. It was capacity actually over the teams I think that he originally shot for, which was 50. 55 ended up getting in, and there was a sizable waiting list for even more teams. And this thing has legs to be a huge contest even next year. We were talking with David after the fact on Saturday night about what he thought next year could look like, and he'd already had bigger, better ideas. I mean, look, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but we could possibly be looking at like a 3-competition event over the course of a weekend, believe it or not. Nothing official, obviously, because we're just literally hours off of that big weekend, but I flew in right around noon Central Time into Tulsa, Oklahoma, made the hour 15-minute trip from Tulsa to Miami, and hit up the location, the world-famous Buffalo Run Hotel and Casino. The property and the accommodations were palatial, totally first class. And what I found to be spectacular is the fact that you do have a really nice hotel, and right next to it is this huge gaming property. There's a number of bars that are in there. You have events or locations that hold events, like the night before on the 14th, you had Trace Adkins doing a concert there. So you can get live entertainment. You can get your gamble on. Sure as hell get your drink on, if you know what I'm talking about. Number of bars to choose from. So the accommodations were there to be had and to be taken advantage of during the course of that weekend. And it was all on blacktop. Again, 55 teams were in there, and there were a lot of heavy hitters. A lot of heavy hitters. Dave Bosca was there from Butcher Barbecue, so a sponsor of the show. And really, the reason that I enjoyed getting out there is, rarely do I get a chance to meet face-to-face a lot of these teams that I have talked to on the show once or twice or 20 times or whatever the case may be, for whatever position that they were in at that point during the year that I had talked to them. But I got to meet, a Darren Worth from Iowa's Smoky D's, who's been on the show a number of times. I got to meet Dave Bosca face-to-face, who sponsors the show and is very successful. I got to meet Big Mo Cason in person. That guy is off-the-wall charismatic. I got to meet John Patty and his wife and really kind of almost overtake their camp and hang out with them. And I got to meet the Smokin' Hills, and I got to meet Great Plains Barbecue, and I got to meet Blazin' Blues Barbecue, And I got to, how could I forget Kelly Wirtz from Four Legs Up Barbecue. I mean, we're talking some really huge team names that took place in here. Ultimately, didn't even get the win, so the competition to cook there was absolutely phenomenal and really went off without a hitch. The weather was absolutely spectacular. It's Friday night, Friday afternoon, Friday night, we're looking mid-70s. And Saturday, although the wind was pretty significant, it was still blue skies and sunny out, so coming from 32 degrees when I left Friday morning outside of Cleveland to land at noon, and it was 78, 80 degrees. Man, that was absolutely phenomenal, and I took advantage of every second of it. And I got to meet some really great KCBS reps. I got to get into the judging tent and see the judges' eyeballs when boxes are opened. Me looking for that personal bias that is immediately interceding into the decision-making process, but it was all handled first class. And then, of course, I got to MC the awards on Saturday and call out some great team names, see a lot of people win awards that actually cooked their asses off and deserved. So it was totally my pleasure, my honor, and I can't thank, nor would I possibly do justice even, in the next 2 minutes, giving thanks and praise and kudos to David Qualls and his wife Chris for putting on a fabulous competition, for inviting me to come down there, for meeting these people. He did a lot of promotion for my brand, for my show. A lot of people out there listen to the show regularly. I'm sorry, I forgot Chris and Mike Peters as well, KCBS Barbecue Tour here, Piggy. Got to meet them face-to-face. Mike has been on the show a number of times. To meet all these teams in person and to make some new contacts. There was a lot of people that listen to the show regularly. There's a lot of people that have caught the show now and again. Maybe there was a guest on that they had interest in, and there was a lot of people that said, hey, I heard about the show, haven't tuned in, but I'm going to go ahead and give it a try now that you kind of met you face-to-face. Of course, one of the ultimate highlights for me is meeting, in my opinion, one of the legends of barbecue, Fast Eddie Morin. And he's been on the show a number of times, and he's the creator of the Effie Cooker, and I met Stuart from Cook Shack as well. But being able to hang out with Eddie outside of a competition, just at a bar, throwing whiskeys, man, I don't know if a weekend gets any better than that. So, Dave, I certainly appreciate the fact that, you invited me down, you got me down there, and fun was had by one and all. People were absolutely high on this competition right from Jump Street, and I think we got a good one brewing that's going to be, I guess, what you call a legacy competition from here on out. So congratulations to Dave and his wife, Chris. The staff at Buffalo Run Resort and Casino was top-notch. Couldn't ask for anything more. A little less wind on Saturday, but look, Mother Nature's nobody's bitch, so beware of that. Absolutely fabulous time. All right, coming up in 3 minutes, Derrick Riches from About.com. Before that, let me tell you quickly about Tasty Licks Barbecue Supply. Look, there are unsavory businesses and creeping marauders at each and every turn on the internet. I think we can all agree on that. But sometimes you're looking for a barbecue or grilling item that just isn't stocked anywhere in your hometown or the next town over or the next town over from that. Your options have become limited. You're now forced to go online to buy the item, or you might have to go without it. What's a man to do? Well, you go on the internet. That grip sets in, the hands start to sweat, your neck tightens. You've been screwed on the internet before, and you don't want it to happen again. After all, this is your hard-earned money we're talking about here. You want to feel confident that the company you're buying from is honest and fair. Great news. Fred Bernardo and the gang over at Tasty Licks will relieve you of your internet buying stresses. Tasty Licks has one of the most complete inventories of barbecue and grilling items anywhere on the face of the earth. All of them that you see on the website are in stock, ready to ship to you directly. Tasty Licks carries grills, smokers, ceramic cookers, electric cookers, various charcoal types, wood chunks, chips, cookbooks, accessories. If they don't have it, you don't need it. And on top of all of that, Fred carries many of the other show sponsors in his store as well. So you're almost doing like this 2-for-1. You're shopping at a sponsor while you're buying other sponsors' products at the sponsor store. Best of both worlds. Don't forget, Tasty Licks has their own line of rubs and seasonings and sauces, doing very well in the competition trail and in the backyard. And from what I heard, from all accounts, a hugely successful class with Harry Sue this past weekend. He's the man, Harry Sue. A lot of people want to come out and see Harry Sue. So look, do yourself a favor. Head on over to TastyLicksBBQ.com. It's the place I get all of my barbecue supplies. So should you. Trusted online retailer, proud sponsor of the show. Let Fred know that you listen to the show and you hear his spots live every Tuesday. Maybe he'll give you a special hookup. TastyLicksBBQ.com. That's TastyLicksBBQ.com. All right, we're coming back with Derrick Riches right after this. We have giveaways, 2 this hour, straight away as well. We're jam-packed. We're loaded. 877-448-0433. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. We'll be right back after this with Derrick Riches. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
We are back. 877-448-0433. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. 2 ways to get in touch with me. My next guest, a regular contributor to the show, although it's been a bear getting him on the past few months due to the tenacious business and travel schedule, widely recognized as having one of the best jobs ever on the face of the earth, and the official expert of what products are good and bad in the world of barbecue and grilling. On this show, fresh off a trip to the annual HPBA Expo in Florida. Let's go ahead and race over the hotline and welcome back friend of the show, Derrick Riches. Derrick, how are you, buddy? Derrick? Hello? Hello? It's not me. I'm hardwired in, dude. I'm ready to go. Derrick.
Greg, you there?
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
All right. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. That's going to give all the naysayers that say that I have technical problems all the time on my show just more fire to spit back at me overnight.
Well, that's why I did that.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm glad you're playing into the multitudes of looking to give me shit during the course of any day during the week. All right, so look, before we get to talking about HPB, the Kingsford Invitational TV show was shown on Sunday night, so 2 nights ago. We were both in attendance there. We actually recapped it the weekend after. We saw it go down live. Did you happen to see it in the finished product?
I caught about 15, 20 minutes of it.
Did you have any thoughts about the final cut versus how we saw it? Do you think they stayed fairly true to what went down?
Well, yeah, I mean, for the most part, I mean, there's a lot of staged pieces that were going on there. Bits with Chris Lilly making calls about turn-in times and that sort of stuff. But
that didn't happen?
Yeah. So, there was, you have to understand, a lot of it's staged and a lot of it's constructed that way. But as far as what happens with the actual competition and, who actually wins, I mean, the factual stuff's the same. It didn't seem anywhere near as dramatic to me while being there, but, it's TV.
Do you recall Scott Nelson doing his best imitation of Carl Lewis at a 50-yard sprint to turn in ribs?
I remember there being a rush to get the ribs turned in, but I think they sped that up or something. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm trying
to think back to that, and it didn't seem quite that dramatic.
I think some people really know how to play to the camera. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, too. And I think that the camera knows how to enhance that, if you know what I mean.
All right, so let's talk about the real deal here. Did you see how many times I was on camera? Like 5 times. Yeah. Did you see me? I was actually standing next to you one time.
Oh, okay.
You didn't look for yourself?
Not really.
What? What kind of self-absorbed a-hole?
I didn't catch all of it, and I'm trying to see when it's going to be on again so I can try and watch the whole thing.
All right. Well,
I was just getting back into town that night, and I forgot about it, actually.
There you go. All right. Well, look for yourself. You're standing next to me, which will obviously boost your residual ratings at least tenfold. So there you go. All right, so you were at the HPBA Expo last week. Was that Orlando or Tampa?
Orlando.
All right, Orlando. So for the folks, I guess, that don't know what HPB is, can you tell us a little bit about it and what it looks to accomplish each year?
Well, HPBA is a bizarre trade group made up of fireplace manufacturers, barbecue manufacturers, and patio people. And so it and when we're talking barbecue, the reality of it is we're talking about gas grills for the most part here. Napoleon Onward Manufacturing, the Broil King, and then like Weber. Those are kind of the big ends of what falls under the barbecue category there. And then a bunch of accessory items and crazy inventors and all that sort of stuff.
Is this an event that would be good for me to attend at some point potentially, or would it be a significant waste of money and time and effort?
Lately they've been trying to kind of ramp up the barbecue end, and they've been having some outdoor events. So the last 2 years they've done a cooking competition. Ted Reeder comes down and MCs the thing. Last year I judged it, but this year they didn't invite me, so I guess I did a bad job. But Ray Lampe does some judging, and they've got some people talking about tailgating and doing some demonstrations. So, if Ted's not available, maybe you could come and MC the competition.
Hey, actually, you know what? I do have experience just this weekend, so it is in my belt. My fees are now tenfold before what they were, so I am definitely able to do that.
And they'll probably still be able to afford you then.
Hey, that's great. Ted Reeder, do you get to spend any time with him? Is he a Gare Loose in person as he is on the show? Because he's a fan favorite on the show.
Well, actually, I gave him a lot of hard time because I flew in on Wednesday, landed, and I hadn't really eaten, so I was really hungry. First thing I see on my phone is like a tweet from Ted about him and Ray and Ed Marin hitting a barbecue joint, literally an hour before me. But I did get a chance to hang out with Ted and talk for a little while. So Ted's a really nice guy, and he does a really good job.
Now, I heard from some people who were at the HPBA this year that they had atrocious foot traffic. So somebody that was there, what was your take on the event as a whole, and was it kind of a loser in regards to attendance?
It's not a huge event anyway, and it only seems to really have a big turnout when it's in Atlanta. For some reason, I guess Atlanta's just easier to get to. Mm-hmm. I didn't think it was that bad. I thought there was a lot of people there, and from what I could see, there were a lot of dealers, and they were talking a lot of business. So, it is a business event. So, as far as going around and looking at the events and seeing what's going on, I think a lot of business got done.
Well, good. Business is what it's there for. So, as someone who goes as a media member and looks to kind of walk the show, and I'm getting a lot of instant chat, what were like the best things that you saw during the course of your time down there? Product-wise, I guess.
I think this was kind of a strange year. There were some new products here and there. There's a new, much larger Big Green Egg. There's some new products out of Primo, some stuff like that. I can't say that there was anything that really struck me as a great thing. There was some crazy stuff, but other than just kind of doing core business stuff, that kind of seems to be where everybody is right now.
All right, so what were some of the crazy things that you saw?
Well, we now have, and you can buy this, a robotic cleaner for your grill.
Oh my God! Look, I just want to tell people right now up front. My next question to you was, did you see GrillBot?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
And you saw GrillBot. All right, so before I ask my potentially controversial question, what were your thoughts of GrillBot, and why did it make your list of crazy items?
Well, so basically it's like a Roomba for the grill. It's got brass brushes that spin around, and it just drives all over the cooking surface. You can set it to run for like 5 minutes and just throw it on there, and it runs around. They have a battery powered one and a rechargeable unit. I think that the thing that really impressed me was that thing spent 3 days driving around on the surface of a group of porcelain-coated cooking grates and had them polished down to the steel by about the second day.
Look, I'm no genius, but that's bad.
Yeah, you'd kind of think so. Yeah, you kind of think that.
Okay, look, so here's the question, right? Do the barbecue and grilling accessory makers of our country, and maybe even foreign countries, but we'll keep it here because we're myopic and we're American, do the grilling and accessory makers really believe that the majority of grillers have become so lazy that they will buy what is really a $70 or $100 option robot to clean the freaking grill grates? I mean, are we really serious about this?
They were very serious about it, and they thought it was a brilliant idea. And there were some, the marketing and PR people really seemed to think this was a great idea, but they seemed to be the only ones that I could tell who thought that there was anything, really viable in this. And, the deluxe edition does sell for $100.
Yeah.
But you know what? Middle of every June, there is buy a stupid gift day. We call it Father's Day. And so there's a possibility this might actually go well.
I mean, that's a lot of cake to lay out for your dad, especially if you only like him marginally.
Well, true. It does have to do with your relationship with your father, I suppose. But, there's just tons of these things. And I honestly believe that there's a whole segment of grill accessories for Father's Day, and that they will only sell for 2 weeks out of the year.
So you think maybe a shell website was set up? Because last time I looked at GrillBot, because I did get a tweet at GrillBot that, could be like a shell website just for over the next couple months, and then as soon as Father's Day hits, this thing's going to just crash out and you'll never see it again.
Well, that's a possibility. They seem to have, they've made some investment, but, what the long-term viability here is pretty low, I would think.
But in the end, right, I mean, you're going to have to, if you got it and you let it scat around your grill for 5 to 7 minutes, and I guess, one of the selling factors for this, according to the website, is you can put it on a hot or a cold grill.
Right.
Look, I'm going to go to the restaurant supply store. I'm going to buy $25 broiler brush because I already have stainless steel grates, and it's going to take me 30 seconds to clean my grill grates when I have that thing preheated, and then I'm done with it. And that grill brush is going to last 5 years. You're still going to, these are brass bristles on the GrillBot from what I understand, and you're still going to have to change them out at some point because they will wear out.
And at this point, the replacement brushes are not available yet.
Oh, perfect.
So, yeah. I mean, they're really rushing to get this into market on season. And the other thing I think about is it's supposed to be, just a quick and easy. So you're finished grilling, you take it out, you push the button, you throw it on there, and you close the lid, and you just let it run around and completely forget about it until the next time you go out and preheat your grill without lifting the lid.
Yes, that's absolutely correct. I wasn't going to mention that, but thank you for doing that. That's why we're hand in glove. All right, so maybe we're mentioning some of the worst. If we look at some of the best of the show, what did you see from Weber? What did you think about that triple extra large Big Green Egg? Because I was actually at a barbecue competition in Miami, Oklahoma, and talked with Big Mo Cason, who evidently is newly sponsored by Big Green Egg, and he was raving, obviously, about how big it was. As someone who saw it firsthand, is this going to be like, I have the most money, I have the biggest green egg? Because Big Green Eggs, while known for being a quality cooker and being cool with a space-age ceramic, pretty freaking expensive.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And at this point, it's going to be, what they're saying is it's going to be a limited run for this year, full production next year. What I really think they're meaning is it's going to be a limited run this year to see if we can sell any of them. But the thing of it is they pulled a joke a couple years ago with like a 6-foot Big Green Egg, 6-foot diameter.
Oh my God.
And it wasn't real. It was fake, but people kept asking about it, and they thought, I'm sure they sat back and thought, hey, we could make a bigger one. It's about 450 pounds.
Wow.
The lid mechanism actually works quite well. So because you're lifting, the lid's got to be 120 pounds or so.
Wow.
But it's fairly easy to lift, and it doesn't require you to stretch too far out because it kind of rolls back a little bit. That's just once you start talking about that size, the logistics of just lifting the lid become a problem. 670 square inches of cooking surface is about 30 inches in diameter. And so if you're standing on one end, reaching to the back of it, you're reaching over a lot of fire.
Yeah.
And if you've ever used a big green egg, it can get really hot.
A little bit.
So, and it gets really hot when the lid's open. When it's open, that's when all the air's getting in there, and that's when the charcoal is just flaring up a lot. So, this is the sort of egg that you'd actually have to walk around to actually get to everything. I think it's, like I said, it's the sort of thing that maybe there's going to be some people out there who just want to say they've got one bigger than everybody else's.
Was there any type of projected price point on this?
Yeah, well, I was talking some price on it, and I think we were talking around $2,000.
$2,000. All right. So what's the cost of the extra large big green egg? I mean, what kind of a price jump are we going from extra large to the extra extra?
I think the extra large is coming in about $12.
Wow. So you're looking at a $800 price jump to go from 1X to the next.
Yeah, it's a pretty big price jump, but the logistics of it are so much higher. Just shipping the damn thing's got to be atrocious. Getting it to the dealers and then getting it out. I mean, it's heavy, it's big, and it's ceramic. You've got to be relatively careful with it.
Derrick Riches from About.com joining us here on the show. bbq.about.com, the specific website if you want to check him out. Any other things at the HPBA that stuck out that you'd like to mention?
Just to kind of follow up on that, I've always contended that when it comes to ceramic cookers, the Komodo cookers, if you want to go from the large to the extra large, I have always said go to the Primo Oval because the shape is better on it. It's easier to manage and operate, and it does indirect better. Primo now has introduced a large oval, so a smaller version of the oval, which does work really well for indirect cooking, and it does have a divider in it, so it does give you a little bit more versatility, and I think that's going to give Big Green Egg certainly a run for its money.
All right, so it's been a couple months since we've talked to you because of the busy schedule that you've had. What are some of the things that are in the Derrick Riches pike that you're reviewing, or some new things that you might be hitting on that you might be able to tell us about?
I've got a ton of stuff to get through there. I believe, I'm going to see if I can't get my hands on one of the new pellet grills that Fast Eddie's finally gotten out from England Stoveworks.
Yeah.
And, see how that goes. And there's several other. I'm going to see if I can't get myself one of these ceramic pellet cookers.
Ceramic pellet cookers?
Yeah, it's a Komodo style pellet cooker called the Black Olive.
All right, now hold on a second. I got to make a note of that. Is the Black Olive the manufacturer, or who's putting their name behind it?
No, it's hang on here. I got the thing right here.
People
it's
are
being
Googling
manufactured
like
by
crazy
Sherwood
right now.
Industries out of British Columbia, and the name of the product is Black Olive. And it has side tables on it, and one of the side tables actually opens up to be a little hopper bin, which feeds pellets into the bottom of the unit.
All right, so pellet cooker. We're going to take a left-hand turn here that I didn't imagine, but that's fine. Pellet cookers really are hitting their stride as of the last 2-3 years. When the Auger patent fell off from Traeger, everybody started jumping into the market. What's your thought on a pellet-driven ceramic cooker? Could this be one of the most fuel-efficient cookers ever on the face of the earth?
Well, there are I know people who say you don't call it a pellet grill, call it a pellet smoker, because most of these pellet cookers can't get the kind of high temperatures you want when it comes to grilling. Right. This can do it because it is so insulated and so enclosed. It can generate very high temperatures. How well it's executed in that direction is another matter. Because that's one of the problems with pellet cookers is being able to hold in the heat you're generating and get it to where you want to have it. This should work very well as a pellet grill.
Is there a website to that too? Is it like blackolive.com or is it sherwoodindustries.com, or where could people go to find out a little bit more about it?
blackolivegrill.com.
All right, blackolivegrill.com as the Centralites begin to crash the server, because we're looking at a kind of like a not a clone, but we're bringing in two different kinds of cookers into one. and one that is well known for being a fuel miser. I mean, say what you want about the Kamado-style cookers. I mean, little fuel goes a long way in those cookers, right?
If they can make this 100% infrared, I think they'll have it.
All right, there you go. We are talking with Derrick Riches. You can find him at bbq.about.com. Huge website, lots of information. You should check it out if you have any questions about it. Of course, Derrick, very accessible as well. Derrick, appreciate the time tonight. Glad you got back from Orlando just safe, and we'll look for you again next month, hopefully.
All right, we'll make a plan.
All right, there he is, Derrick Riches, bbq.about.com. Always good to catch up with Derrick. Missed him the last couple months. Who wouldn't? Man, is anybody... Oh, look at you, Brian W., getting the kudos from me right there. I'm pulling this thing up right now. Look at this thing. All right, looks like a big green egg. Got the dimples. It's black. There's the hopper. There's the control panel. Look at the photos. Required 115 volts. Ignition time 2 minutes. 50,000 BTUs. There you go. You got the chimney. I want to see... What is that? Oh, you got the hinge sides there. Where are the videos at? Somebody's going to be getting an email from somebody later this evening. All right, thanks again to Derrick for coming on and talking about HPBA and dropping a little knowledge on us about blackolivegrill.com if you want to check it out. Brian W. just linked it up. Check it out. You know, I was down in Miami, Oklahoma this past weekend, and I can't tell you how many compliments I got on my Stephen DeFranco Accutron Precisionist watch. There it was on fine display. People saying, hey, man, that thing is shiny. I like the customization on that. How do I get one? Simple. First, you can go to the website, StephenDeFranco.com, DIFRANCO, StephenDeFranco.com. Peruse the website, check out all of the things that he has there for sale, and once you've found something that you like, lob him a phone call, 440-943-2700. That's 440-943-2700. And then ask for Steve. Now, when Steve gets on the phone, this isn't some, general manager at the sales desk or some hack. This is Steve, the guy that owns the store. When we talk about top men in the industry, this is top men in the industry. It doesn't get any bigger than the guy that owns the store. Tell me you're a barbecue brother or sister. Tell me you listen to the show. Tell me you think I'm a tool. But tell me you want to save the money, and that's why you're calling. He'll say, hey, what are you looking at? And it'll give you some customizing tips. He'll tell you how to potentially trick it out even more, or pair this with that, and it's going to look great, or add this to that. His counsel is second to none. I've had a number of people say, hey, I didn't buy something with Steve, but I asked him for some knowledge. He kicked it to me straight. And down the road, I'm going to be buying something from Steve. That's all I want you to do. Give him consideration, just like I tell you to give consideration to all the other sponsors of the show. Visit the website, find what you want, Stephen DeFranco, DIFRANCO, StephenDeFranco.com, and then once you've found it, whether it be a watch or a necklace or a diamond ring or earrings or anklet or whatever, call him, 440-943-2700, 440-943-2700. People are buying stuff from Steven in the barbecue community. I get the kudos for it because I've saved their money. If you don't need to save money, don't call them. If you're like me, you want to save some cashish, you call them, and you'll thank me for it. 440-943-2700, StephenDeFranco.com. We'll come back with Dan Richard from Blazin Blue Barbecue right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Now's the time on the show where we give stuff away, yeah. It's free and you don't have to pay a thing, that's why it's free, yeah.
All right, forgot. It's your chance to win, so get your fat fingers ready on the email. An 8-ounce shaker of mahogany red barbecue rub. That's right, an 8-ounce shaker of mahogany red barbecue rub graciously donated from Smoky D's. That's Smoky, S-M-O-K-E-E, D's, D-E-E-S, SmokyD's.com. Check it out. See what he's all about. It's going to give you some rub. That's right. 8 ounces to be exact. A shaker of the Mahogany Red barbecue rub. In the subject line of the email you're about to blast me off, put Derrick Riches. Spell his name right. Got to be right. Derrick Riches for your chance to win an 8-ounce shaker of Mahogany Red barbecue rub from SmokyD's.com. Good luck.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, we are back with the show. We are presented by Green Mountain Grills, folks. I've failed to mention them last segment. Green Mountain Grills, your premier pellet manufacturer of grills and smokers. GreenMountainGrills.com for more information, and we thank them for their sponsorship of the show. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be reading an email from Jason that's going to be asking me for my take on stuff. We'll get that to around 10:35, so be aware for that. My next guest tonight just walked away with the GC at the first annual Smokin At The Run barbecue contest that took place in Miami, Oklahoma this past weekend. Here to recap the weekend for us, the pitmaster of Blazin Blues Barbecue. We welcome in first timer of the show, Dan Riches. Dan, how are you, buddy?
Hey, doing great, Greg. Appreciate the invitation.
Certainly my pleasure, Dan. Appreciate you making time for the show tonight. We'll get into the recap of the event here in just a second, but I guess for the folks that maybe aren't familiar with your team, Blazin Blues Barbecue, how did you decide to get into this whole competition scene?
You know, it was all my son's idea. We were watching TV and got hooked onto the Barbecue Pitmaster Series Season 1. I think it was fall of 2009. And we started putting it together in the backyard and took it to Sykeston. I think it was April 2010. The good news, bad news is that we came in ninth in pork, and from that point on, we've been trying to figure it out. So the rest is history.
There you go. Pork is pork something you're still trying to get wigged out there then?
It all depends upon the week.
Oh.
We kind of all have our specialties. It's really a family team. My son focuses more on, he calls them the manly meats, the pork and the brisket. I've been kind of demoted to the chicken man, and my wife helps out where she can, usually with ribs and pork. So it all depends upon the makeup of the team that weekend, but we all kind of have our areas of specialty.
Dan, when you were did you watch that first season of Barbecue Pitmasters?
Yes, actually my son recorded it, and we've watched them several times. And it's kind of funny to go back in time and look and see some of the secrets they were actually showing you right on TV that you weren't really smart enough to pick up at the time. So it's always kind of interesting to look back and see how far we've come.
Did you ever have any interest in shooting your own YouTube video and sending over John Marcus's way to try and get on that show?
We're kind of fans of the process. We kind of still consider ourselves spectators. And anytime we go to a competition, it's like we're, a fan of a sports team, and we're walking in, and our biggest, stars are right there with us. And the crazy thing about this, you actually get to not only play, but you get to compete with them. It's absolutely absurd. But speaking of those pitmasters, I think I've got my picture taken with all but one of season 1 pitmasters. So that's how available they are. And, you go to a competition, and it's like you're walking onto the field with, your baseball stars or your NASCAR stars or however you view it. It's really an honor just to be there to compete and to see them, and much less to even be competitive. It really makes it special.
Absolutely. Dan Riches joining us here on the show, pitmaster of Blazin Blues Barbecue. You can find him on the web, Blazin, just with an IN, BlazinBluesBBQ.com. I'm always fascinated by how teams get their names, Dan. How did you come up with Blazin Blues Barbecue?
My son and I kind of play around on the guitar, and of course we love barbecue, so one of the family getaways on the weekends would always be to search out barbecue restaurants around the area. And anytime you go to a really good barbecue place, it's consistent, there's good blues music, it just sets the tone, it's the atmosphere. So when we were trying to come up with the name and also the logo of basically the bull and the pig playing guitars, it just made sense that it came together. Once it kind of stumbled off our tongue, it stuck. And that's kind of our theme: good music, good barbecue, and that's kind of the celebration of life that the team is supposed to represent. It's really about, the getting together, being part of the family, spending time with each other. I will say on that, we went fishing, we played a lot of golf. I've never done anything really with my son that has probably brought us closer together. And it took my wife a while to get into it, but we actually rented a Class C RV, and we went to Excelsior Springs in August of 2010. We won the contest, and the next thing you know, she goes, "What can I do to help?" And she's been really contributing to the team however she could ever since.
Yeah, winning always helps smooth things over and get people in, right?
Just going is an honor, but when you break even, it's great. And if you actually make some gas money, it's absolutely incredible. So, that's kind of brought her around, and she has as much fun really as anyone on the team now.
Dan Richer joining us here on the show. Dan, for this contest, I guess I have kind of a unique perspective since I was actually down there on site. But in a general sense, from your side, how did things go for you last weekend? How was the cook, and was there anything that you didn't expect that you ended up having to contend with?
Number one on the cook, the organizer, Dennis Quayle's put together just an incredible first-year cook. Most of the time when you show up to a first cook, they're trying to get the electric going, they're trying to get the water, the ash barrels. He had it down. I mean, he absolutely nailed it from, being ready. I even heard from, friends that also cooked that couldn't make it. They'd heard that it was a great competition, well organized. So number one, he had everything ready.
Yeah.
The only thing that kind of threw us for a loop, there's always some twist, was the wind. Looking at the 10-day forecast, it was supposed to be nice, and it's 300 miles from St. Louis, so we decided to tent cook it and just pull the pit down. So we weren't really ready for the wind. Typical, barbecue camaraderie. When our tent started taking off and actually broke into pieces, we had people standing on each leg. Dennis from Four Smokin' Butts had his duct tape out, and he helped us get it taped back together enough to make it through the cook. So we actually had a roof over us, and by the time the wind shifted the next morning, we had the sidewalls up and could actually prepare. As far as the cook, there's always areas. It's really what are we going to miss or what are we going to not hit. In this case, the cook went pretty well. And when we started testing the food, there's always a few things that you figure out. We missed some sweetness on the ribs. We had, cooked 2 pork butts. One was a little bit tougher. We pulled it, must have hit a fat spot or something, and we pulled it just a little bit early. The brisket, came off, had a nice smoke ring, and that piece was fairly comfortable going in, but we really didn't expect to have anything in ribs at all. Just because we missed the sweetness. It wasn't there. Next thing you know, we get an 8th place in ribs, and it's just like, well, doggone, everything else was, in the ballpark, so you never know.
If we look at the categories a little bit more in depth, chicken is the first thing that's called out. You get a 4th in chicken that I called. And, once you get a call in chicken, I've talked to some other pit masters that say, when I get a chicken call, whether it be 1st or 10th or whatever, it kind of builds some momentum, and you're like, hey, we got a chance to get in this thing. Did the chicken seem, that good as a 4th place chicken, or were you surprised by the result at all?
No, I knew the chicken was pretty good. The chicken is the one that you can't really taste the pieces you're putting in. It's not like a pork butt where you get a piece of it, or a brisket where you get a slice pretty close to what you're turning in. They're individual chicken thighs. What I really try to focus on there is, a good form. Of course, you got to trim it right. You got to form it, get the seasoning on it. And then I really kind of focus on color, because with chicken, this is just my thoughts. The judges are there. They're excited. They're hungry. So they eat with their eyes first. So I really try to make it look as pretty as I can. They look good. I had good color. I caught them at the right temp, which is the other crazy piece. It's within a few degrees of being, overdone or underdone. Caught them at the right temp. My wife gave me the thumbs up when she was taste testing after the fact. So I was pretty comfortable with the chicken. Ellen was, anytime you can get a top 5 in chicken, you're right. You got a chance. With us, historically, chicken has always been the toughest one to cook. It's definitely the one I spend the most time on. So yeah, when you get a call in chicken, you're setting yourself up for hopefully a good cook.
Dan Richer joining us here from Blazin Blue Barbecue, talking about the win this past weekend at the Smokin At The Run in Miami, Oklahoma this past weekend. You got that 8th in ribs that you said you kind of weren't expecting because the flavor profile was a little bit off. The pork, no call. where's the mindset on that? Did you think the pork was deserving of a call, or were you? I mean, obviously you don't know where you're at while I'm calling them out, but where did you think you fell out?
No, that's we kind of believe in the jinx, so it's kind of funny. We always go after we turn it in. We look at each other and go, "What was our strongest category?" And I was very happy with the pork box. As I mentioned that one of the butts was tough, so we basically used everything from the one particular pork butt. It came together well, looked nice in the box, had good tenderness, and as it turns out, hindsight's 20/20. I was sitting there kind of nudging my wife, hey, we've had 2 calls already. I'm pretty confident in pork, so you're going to be going up for the award. And then we come up with nothing, and we're sitting there going, you jinxed us. You shouldn't have said the pork was our best. But it turned out we were 11. So again, we were pretty close in there. Again, 1 or 2 judges can swing it pretty significantly. But again, as long as you're in the hunt or in the top of the pack, you're still looking good for the overall run. So when we got the sheets after the fact, we were kind of scrambling, looking through it, because that was the first thing that came to mind. How did we do in pork? Where were we? How close was it?
Now, you win brisket. You're 4 points away from a perfect brisket. Was it that good in your estimation as you're putting it in the box and running it over to the judges' tent?
We were kind of scrambling. The wind was really getting up, and we were just, quite frankly, happy to make turn-ins. Kind of at that point, it is what it is. We cooked 2 briskets, and one was tougher, so we definitely took the tenderer of the 2, and made the box pretty quick with some burn-ins and some slices. We did have a nice smoke ring, I'll say that. So again, visually appearing, it looked good and had the right pull. With the brisket, my wife tasted it and she kind of nodded her head. So we knew it wasn't a bad brisket, but I really had no clue it was that good. So that was kind of icing on the cake. When we got that was kind of a shock as well. I knew, I thought it might be a top 10 brisket, but I had no clue it might be the first place brisket. So,
after you get that first in brisket, Dan, are you feeling pretty confident that you might have won this thing, or does the no call in pork make you think that you might have
the no call in pork? We cooked the polar bear in Colombia, and we lost by 2 100ths, or was it 2 10,000ths of a point to Gilly, who won reserve at the Buffalo Run.
Yep.
So we're sitting there going, oh my gosh. In that case, we were pretty much having the same cook, and we ended up with like a 26th in brisket. So we're sitting there going, my gosh, what happened to the pork? What did we miss? What did they pick up that we didn't? So we're kind of emotionally rattled, and it was funny because Gilly was sitting right next to us as we were, kind of going back and forth. So we didn't really have a clue how it was going to end up until they got down to, past his call. Then we assumed that we were there, but it's a mind, gut wrenching kind of thing as they go through the calls. And then it's a big relief afterwards. So again, it's always fun to go through that, especially with the characters, if you'll call them, that are going up like Big Mo, doing his jig when he wins and smoking his cigar. It just makes it a fun experience, win, lose, or draw. And again, those are your barbecue heroes that are getting, calls right there with you. So,
and that kind of leads me to my next point here, Dan, is the fact that, I'm sure that there are a lot of fans and people that follow the competition scene might have seen the list on a Friday and seen the amount of heavy hit. I mean, there were really a lot of, well-known teams that came out to this event in Miami this past weekend. They probably would have put money on them to finish ahead of you guys, maybe even win. Is that what really makes this sport as popular as it is, being able to go up against those proverbial big boys and smack them around a little bit and walk out with a win?
I don't know if it's smack them around. There's a lot of we call it luck of the draw. There's a lot of quite frankly, luck. I think a lot that goes into it is the dedication. The folks that have done the cooks know how difficult it is, know the organization it takes to get all the pieces to do a decent cook there and just to make the turn-ins. So, I think there's an element of it that on any given day, anybody could win. And it doesn't, again, there's that element of luck and just being in the game. It's like fishing. If you got your hook in the water, you might catch a fish. And there are a lot of folks there. They're having a good time, and they always have a chance of getting a call. if they, get to win and get some gas money and cover the cost, then they're doing their hobby for free. And there's very few, call it sports, if you will, that you can do that and actually break even or perhaps make, a few dollars doing what you love. So I think that has a lot to do with it. And again, you're right. They're marquee names. They're industry leaders that are building the pits. They're building, making the spices and rubs. They're the folks that are teaching the classes that are basically advancing the causes of barbecue, and we're junkies when it comes to classes. I've had, me and my son took Rod Gray's class. I took Johnny Triggs' class. Jeff Brinker of B&B Barbecue really helped me on chicken when I was struggling. And Tim Shear of Gateway.
Oh, shit. Damn it. Wrong mouse. No, that's wrong mouse. That's my bad. Hold on. What happened here? Hold on. Sorry, that's my bad. Let me get Jeff. Let me get Dan back. Crappy of me. Dan.
Hi, Greg.
I got a little trigger happy on my mouse button. I hit the wrong one. I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish your thought there. I apologize.
Yeah, I was just saying that, those are the folks that really, guided us from a class perspective. They spent their hard-earned time experimenting with those, recipes and then sharing them. Some people view it as, charging exorbitant costs, but I look at they were willing to share and advance the cause of the barbecue, community. And that takes a lot of, gumption, I guess, to be able to say, hey, I've got something that's fairly unique. It advances good barbecue. At the end of the day, we want to do our best, and we want to turn in, our best to the judges. And, if it comes out that we get a call, that's great. But I think that's kind of a representation. I was about to say, Tim Shear and the Gateway Barbecue did a class. They had a combination of a first-place rib at the American Royal and Jeff Brinker first-place pork, and they're up there teaching everything that they did. That's very unselfish of them, and it's just kind of what you find in that barbecue community that, most people are willing to help out as much as they can, but still it's competitive.
That's right. He is Dan Richard, the pitmaster of Blazin' Blues Barbecue. Just won the first annual Smokin At The Run barbecue contest this past weekend. Dan, congratulations again on the GC, and I really appreciate you coming back on the show tonight to recap it for us. Continued success, and we'll talk to you soon, buddy.
I appreciate it, Greg. Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. There he is. Dan Richard, Blazin' Blues Barbecue. That guy's salt of the earth right there. So salt of the earth, I'm an idiot and hung up on. Sorry about that. Sorry, Dan. It's my bad. By the way, congratulations to Chris Grove for winning the Mahogany Red Barbecue Rub. Mahogany Red Barbecue Rub goes to Chris Grove, nibblethis.com. No one is above winning. No one is above winning, unless it was Smokey D's winning his own rub. That would be weird. Gang, let me talk to you quickly about the longest-running sponsor of the show, the Barbecue Guru. If you've been thinking about an automatic pit temperature control device, this is the one you want to stop at. They are the company that started it all, the creators of this technology. Why would you buy from any other company? I don't know, and I saw a number of them out there in Miami, Oklahoma this past weekend as well. So this is the deal, right? Maybe you're a busy working professional, or perhaps you are constantly on the run with kids doing errands, or you're a busy pit master that would rather have something else tend your pit temperatures while you're prepping meat or doing whatever it is that you're doing at a competition. The Barbecue Guru allows you to throw on a pork butt or a brisket or a couple slabs of ribs, then you're off to do whatever it is you need to get done. And the Barbecue Guru maintains that pit temperature you set it at. There's a number of different models to choose from. I saw a number of the CyberQ Wi-Fi units, so these guys can go to bed, get their smartphone or tablet or laptop computer, because there's Wi-Fi out there, and check their pit temperatures from the comfort of their bunk or the hotel room, and they can make adjustments as necessary. It's just that easy. Also, you have the DigiQ DX2. I saw one of those. The Party Q, didn't see one of those. But $130, the easiest point of entry into pit temperature control devices out there on the market today. It's a self-contained package that runs on AA batteries. All right, you're not leaving? Okay. In the market for a cooker, look no further than the Onyx Oven. Been winning on competition circuits as well as in backyards all over the country. This fully insulated unit holds a ton of meat, accommodates half and full pans for food service, and works seamlessly with any of the Barbecue Guru temperature devices. So do yourself a favor. Head on over to thebbqguru.com. Check out all their products. If you have any questions about what to order, call them directly, 800-288-GURU. That's 800-288-GURU. They will make sure you're outfitted with exactly what you need to get you up and running right out of the box. 800-288-GURU or thebbqguru.com. The Barbecue Guru, a breakthrough in barbecue technology. Straight away, your chance to win a barbecue hook from Easy Hooks, bbqhooks.com. Stick around for that. We'll be right back.
Show when you give stuff away for no money. That's why it's free of charge. You can win stuff and I'll give it away for free.
All right, from time to time, we get the Easy Hooks to give away. This is going to be one single unit. We'll be giving another. Another one away. I think next week. So look for that. This is very sharp. It will turn bacon. It will turn like 15 pounds of meat. Some people call them pigtails. You can take a look at them at bbqhooks.com. bbqhooks.com for an Easy Hook giveaway. Your chance to win it. All you have to do in the subject line: Blazin Blues Barbecue wins. Blazin Blues Barbecue wins. I'm sorry. Don't send. Blazin Blues BBQ wins. Blazin Blues BBQ wins for your chance to win an Easy Hook, courtesy of bbqhooks.com. Good luck.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, 877-448-0433. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Thanks again to Dan Richard, Blazin Blue BBQ. All right, we got a winner here already. This guy is on fire. Chris Grove won the Mahogany Red Barbecue, and Mark Gabrick wins the Easy Hook. Mark, send me your shipping info. And in the subject line, please reference Easy Hook. Mark Gabrick wins the Easy Hook. Good job, Mark. Way to listen. Way to be on top of it, buddy. All right, we're going to step away real quick. We'll reload for the second hour. Chris Capell will be joining us. I have other things to get off my chest as well. You can weigh in, 877-448-0433, or email Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Also, thanks to Derrick Riches from bbq.about.com for coming on in the second segment of the show tonight.
This is Chris Payne from Euclid, Ohio, and you are listening to Barbecue Central.
You know, I was
happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
It's got a lot of power.
Come on, Greg. You're asking a guy whose team name is Pellet Envy. So obviously the answer you're going to get is no.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Fine. How's it going?
Charbono. It's all about the Charbono, dude. I just like being anywhere with Junior, Senior, and Diva.
Sounds like a whole other type of movie.
Wow. Yeah, really.
You could use it to fight off creeping marauders looking to take your steaks off your grills.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
But listen, Lavernius, shut your face.
How hot is Kelly Ripa in person?
Kelly Ripa is super hot. She's absolutely delicious.
Oh, yeah.
You could butter base her and pint Twinkies with that girl. She's delish.
Well, to put it briefly, let's just say I went to school.
There's no Robert Porker who's in charge of pig meat out there.
Is it not correct to properly classify you as Harry Sue's pit bitch?
I was his pit bitch for 6 weeks. I have no shame. I was. Keep it hot, keep it clean, keep it lubricated.
Succulent fish. What?
This right here is the premier media outlet.
So did you see this one? Tiger Woods has gone ahead and checked into sex rehab. Hey, Tiger, guess what? Everybody's addicted to sex.
I'm shaking like a dog shitting peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Who? Top men.
All right, just like that, we are in the second hour. That's right. Thanks again to Dan Richard from Blazin Blues BBQ for joining me on the show. BlazinBluesBBQ.com if you want to check Dan out on the web. Also, Derrick Riches, bbq.about.com. Got to make my note here for the winners. Mark Gabrick won the Easy Hook. Okay, so here's what we have coming up for second hour giveaways, because I know you're chomping at the bit, right? We have 2 prizes from friend of the show, Fred Gross, Mojo Bricks. The next one, which will be after the next interview segment with, well, maybe it'll be in between segments with Chris Capell from Dizzy Pig. Mojo Bricks, any one item of your choice on shop.mojobricks, M-O-J-O, mojobricks.com. So check that website out right now if you think you're going to win. And you can be picking out your prize in advance, shop.mojobricks.com. And then the giveaway after that, Mojo Bricks will give you all 5 mini cubes, the mini pack variety pack, shipped right to your door for free, mojobricks.com. That's what you have to look forward to. Still coming up tonight, as I said, in a couple minutes from now, Chris Capell of Dizzy Pig Barbecue. So look forward to that on the show next week. Barbecue legend Chris Marks will be on the show to talk about a new remote thermometer that he has been helping get into the market. We'll also talk some barbecue tips for the backyard cook as well. If you don't know who Chris Marks is, friends, have you been living under a rock? Only one of the most successful barbecue cooks ever on the face of the earth. Literally. I don't think anybody has won more American Royal championships than him, although Mike Davis might be creeping up on him. But those two are like neck and neck. So look for Chris Marks next week. Also, Daniel Pomerantz, former pitmaster of the Q Team, will be on the show to talk about the crank apron incident from last August. We'll also talk to the creator of the barbecue pad, which will help you track your cooks on your, I believe it's just the iPad right now. It's an app. So all of that stuff to look forward to next week. Who knows what else I'll add. Another Sam's Club local qualifier took place this past weekend in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The 6 teams that will be moving on to the regional round, this regional will be held in Las Vegas, Nevada, are winning. Grand champion Parrot Head Smokers. He's having a great year all of a sudden. And I know we're only like 3.5 months in, but watch for Parrot Head. Very tough competitor, unless he kind of peters out towards the end of the year. But right now, doing very strong. He wins that local qualifier. Reserve Grand Champ 2, Can Q. IAB 30 takes 3rd. Wild Hogs BBQ 4th. Smokin Hot J's 5th. And just squeaking in there at the top 6, rounding it out. Route 66 Catering Crew. So those will be your guys. Moving on to the regional round again. That'll be held in Las Vegas, Nevada. And I'm not sure exactly when that regional round is per se, but those are the 6 that will be moving on. At least the first batch of 6 moving on to the regional round out of Las Vegas, Nevada. All right, I got this email from a listener. I wanted to address this. We did something kind of similar like this as far as, you know, the show live, the show isn't live, blah, blah, blah. But this is an email I got from a listener. I want to address this, so please indulge me just for a second. And it's addressed as such. Greg, love the radio show. Content is great, both from your guests and from you. However, the constant sound effects, air horn, background music, etc., makes it very difficult to get through. You don't need it. Please consider getting rid of the gimmicks and concentrating only on the content. Best regards, Michael. Michael, first and foremost, thanks for writing into the show. I appreciate every single email I get. Constructive criticism, only praise, only demeaning. Whatever the case may be, if you find time in your day necessary to pen me or keyboard me an email, I will take the time to not only read it, but answer it. And sometimes I will answer it in a private arena, or I will take time because, look, I'm sure you're not the only one that thinks this. What's the old saying go? You know, if you have a question in class, raise your hand and ask it, because there's probably more people in the class that have the same question. So there's no stupid questions, whatever. So constructive criticism for Michael taken, why do away with the sound effects, the air horn, and the background music. And here's all I can say about that, Michael.
Get that big stuff out of here.
This is the show, buddy. The show is me. The show is my guests. The show is great content for both me and my guests. Unfortunately, probably to your chagrin, the show is the air horn. The show is the drum roll. The show is the hammer.
Get that big stuff out of here.
The show is this guy laughing. The show is this guy. Where'd it go? Where's the big laugh at? Oh, I don't have the big laugh. Oh, that's a shame. The show is this guy ranting.
Total power in one person's hands, not the American way. These damn bills that come out here all the damn time, come out here at the last second, and I gotta try to figure out how to vote for my people. You should be ashamed of yourselves.
That's great.
I'm sick of it. Every year, we've passed rules that stop each one of us. Enough! I feel like somebody trying to be released from Egypt. Let my people go!
The show is Rod Gray calling in from time to time to weigh in on certain aspects, and typically his opinion is this.
Nothing.
What?
Nothing.
Rod, look, I want you to think long and hard. What else could you possibly add to this show?
Nothing.
Of course not. You have the occasional this.
Fat.
The what?
Fat.
That's fat.
Fat.
Maybe you're 40.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
You're what?
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Of course you are. This is part and parcel of the show. Am I going a little extreme just to make a point? Of course I am. If you like the show, I think, Michael, if you're honest with yourself, and I'm not making a mockery of this at all, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Everybody's entitled to tell me how they think they should tell me how to make the show better and what I do need and what I don't need, and I field 50 of these emails or 60 of these emails each and every week, right? Absolutely. Here's what I have to say. If you go through and extrapolate out and redact it down, what percentage of sound effects are in the show every week, and what percentage of straight-up content without any sound effects are in the show? I'm no mathematician by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm going to venture this guess. Sound effects is probably 0.5%. 0.5%. Are you kidding? It's always been with the show. It's going on 6 years. I'm not going to change it now, and this is why I'm not going to change it. The same reason that I do a live show is the same reason that I have sound effects in the show. I like it. I do the show for me first. If I didn't do the show for me first, I wouldn't do a show because it requires me to want to do the show. And I say this, if you think you can do a better show, and I'm not saying that you're saying you can do a better show, but for everybody else that wants to tell me how to do the show, if you think you can do a better one, you have every avenue to take advantage and do your own show. And I suggest you do it. See how easy it is. But this is just part of the show. I think if you listen to, maybe you're a new listener, Michael, but I think if you listen to the show consistently and you listen to it for a long period of time, this is something that you'll just kind of grow and love, and it's like it helps add oomph and charisma to the show. I said charisma because I'm from New York. Sorry. But more importantly than any of that, I just like the fact that you just listen to the show. And I'm sorry you have to struggle through it, but this is just something that's going to have to happen. And if that means you're out, I don't want to lose you, but I understand. Sometimes the show isn't for everybody. If the show is for everybody, there's something I'm probably not doing right. That's what I got to say about that. But I appreciate you writing in, Michael, and I've taken your criticism under review. And as much as I hate to say it, this stuff is going to stay the same. Sorry. This is part of the show. This is part of the show. All right, I saw him this past weekend in Miami, Oklahoma. I feel weird saying Miami because it's Miami, but Miami, Oklahoma this past weekend. ButcherBarbecue.com, Dave Bosca. We all know Butcher's well known for the injections, the pork, the beef, now the Prime injection, of course, which has combined all the things loved with our beef injection using its award-winning flavor enhancer and its ability to keep your brisket juicy. They've combined it with what has become the competition standard in beef flavor, available for sale right now at ButcherBBQ.com. Now, perhaps you're looking for a go-to rubber sauce. You've hit the mother load here as well, friends. Butcher Barbecue, a full line of award-winning rubs. One of my personal favorites is that steak and brisket rub. Of course, I love the honey rub as well. And look, if you inject, use the premium rub, especially if you inject, because Butcher's is formulated to work with that injection. A perfect 1-2 punch to impress judges and friends alike. And last but not least, and I had a good taste of it this past weekend, that sweet barbecue sauce, the Butcher sweet barbecue sauce. Look, when it comes to sauce, I'm as picky as it gets, but Butcher sauce wins in every category for me. Not overly sweet, a nice slice of tang, right amount of back-end heat, no liquid smoke. It's just a really great sauce, and I love it. And that's why I always recommend that if you're going to buy some, you buy 6, because it's going to go fast in your house just like it does in mine. And no worries on breaking the bank when it comes to shipping either. Items totaling up to $55 ship at $8.50. Between 55 and 200 ship at $9.75, and anything over $200 ships free. Can't beat that. Head on over to ButcherBBQ.com. Stock up now, ButcherBBQ.com. Of course, they have that trade-in program that is still going on. If you are jammed up with another commercials rub that you don't like, another commercials injection that you don't like, go to ButcherBBQ.com, click on the trade-in link, print off the slip, send in your remaining commercial rub. Dave will weigh it and send you back either the pork or the brisket or the premium rub in return. Teams using it, cross-sanctioning bodies, winning with it each and every weekend. Why leave yourself out? I don't know. ButcherBBQ.com. Always trust your butcher. We're going to be talking about this bird booster next week, too. Damn it. Whether you like it or not, Dave, we're going to do it. All right, we're coming back with Chris Capell from Dizzy Pig. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, we are back. 877-448-0433. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Blake Moody weighing in, saying that he loves the listener portion of the show. Blake, it's my favorite portion of the show as well. Absolutely. Diane Me saying that Butcher barbecue sauce is absolutely phenomenal. Diane, I agree. Not just because Dave is a sponsor, because I actually eat it. I believe there's video of me actually drinking it during a conversation with Meathead that he couldn't actually believe. Nevertheless, my next guest, one of the most successful barbecue rub makers in the market right now and has been for many years. Some of the best-selling, most sought-after rubs by many teams on the competition circuit, as well as the backyard hacks just like me. Also, the pitmaster of his own competition team has enjoyed a good amount of success since they have gotten out onto the trail. Let's go ahead and race over the hotline and welcome back a friend of the show. You know him as Chris Capell. Chris, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you, Greg?
I'm doing absolutely fabulous, Chris. Great to have you back on the show and appreciate you making time out here. Number of things to get into, and, if need be, I do have flexibility where we can, run this segment, and if we're not done yet, we can carry over. So as long as your schedule is good, let's just kind of see where it goes, right?
That sounds great.
All right. So, Chris, let's talk about this first. Competition cooking classes are very popular. They seem to have, really garnered a lot of competition over the last 3-4 years, maybe even 5 years since I've been doing the show. But this one is a little bit different than you're doing. The Dizzy Pig class, all ceramic, and we'll get into that here in just a second. But here's one thing that I found interesting about kind of what you do, and it's the Dizzy Pig doesn't really follow that common trend used on the competition circuit, but kind of likes to cook their own styles and flavors. When I say that, what does that mean to you, and I guess what could potential classmates expect when they're going in on that?
Okay, yeah, well, we've been cooking on the same cooker for 10 years, and we love the flexibility of them. A lot of people say they're heavy to carry around, but, we're able to control the environment for each of the different meats, and, like a lot of people who are, are curious about, ceramic will want to go to this class, but at the same time, like I was thinking about it, there's probably only like 30% of what you do at a competition is related to the actual cooking of the meat on your cooker. So yeah, it's the first all ceramic class probably. I'm not familiar with any others. I'm sure there's been a couple of other ones. But it's just, we've approached it in a different way, and we've done our own thing, and people will pick up certain things about it. Obviously, nobody's going to try to duplicate exactly what we're doing because it's so different. But we're just real excited about the class, and we're going to keep it small, so that like everybody can pick up kind of the actual experience, and so it's real exciting, and putting it off for a long time.
Now, when we talk about Dizzy Pig not necessarily following the trends of flavor that maybe they're going to be getting at some other classes, do you ever worry that people might not be anxiously signing up or looking to get into this class because you aren't following the other flavor profiles that seem to have become so popular and dominant over the last couple of years?
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, I sure don't expect everybody to sign up for this. 3 hours class is what I'd be signing up for right now.
Yeah, right? They win everything.
Yeah. So that's a team that's hot right now, and those are the flavor profiles that are working. Cool thing is we've done it differently the whole time, and we're still hanging in there. It's getting harder and harder. Our big years were 2005 and 2006, when we were winning a bunch, and we knew it wouldn't last forever, and I think everybody knows, like Dan knows right now, it's not going to last forever. But it's exciting, actually when you're winning, and I don't blame people for wanting to go to the classes of the people that are kicking ass,
So here's the thing that I have trouble with, is the fact that, and this is going to be like a view on competition barbecue as a whole as it sits right now, and I'm actually going to side with you on this, but indulge me just for a second. You have, a lot of these classes are being given by people that are winning right now. So you have a lot of, a competition barbecue is seeing a real surge in growth and popularity, and people say, hey, I don't have to be 6'2", chiseled out of stone, and being a world-class athlete and being able to run a 40 in 4.2 seconds in order to take part in this. Look, right. No news to me or you, right? But a lot of guys that are in the barbecue world are kind of fat. So, look, you don't need to be in excellent shape in order to be successful at this. You have to hone the craft, you learn your flavor profiles, you learn how to cook, and pretty much you can be in it each and every weekend. But here's the deal, right? Over these last number of years, in my estimation, from what I hear from a lot of these other pitmasters, there is what I've called a vanilla-ing of flavor profiles, and that teams and people taking these classes are so concerned about not getting too far outside of the box to where they might put themselves at a disadvantage with the judges. And I think at some point, Chris, the way you're doing it, the way that you're not conforming and trying to be like everybody else is going to have to pay off. It's all cyclical. Things are going to have to change, and it's got to turn around for you, right?
Right. Well, I think so. And it's kind of funny you mention that, because we get a chance to talk to the judges a lot after the competitions, and I've noticed the most in the last couple of years that judges have come up to me and said, everything tasted the same.
Yeah.
I was looking for something different, but everything tasted the same. But at the same time, if you look at these teams, like that are cooking barbecue, potato chip, barbecue, it's winning. And there's no way around that. But if you sell out, who knows? You might take home a few ribs. I think it's changing. I think the judges are starting to pick it up, and they're looking for something a little bit out there. I look at QL. QL is a great example. I mean, that guy has cooked like different from everybody forever. And I think he's one of the most successful at putting it together and from contest to contest. So there's something to be said for each for each school of thought, I guess.
Yeah, Chris Capell joining me here on the show. DizzyPigBBQ.com, the website. Chris, if somebody's going to sign up for the class, what can they expect to get out of it? What will you be teaching?
Well, it's pretty much everything like that I know, everything I've been doing for 107 contests. I'll talk about what we're doing now compared to what we were doing in the past. But the different thing about it is it's going to be a small group, and it's not going to be me up behind the table talking about how to do everything, and then hey, come try the food in the morning. It's actually going to be a competition on the actual time frame. So we'll be doing our boxes, and like our chicken box is going to be done between 5 and 5 afternoon, and we're going to try it, and we're going to move right on the rib. So you're going to be seeing, how we make adjustments. Like if stuff's not going right at 5 in the morning, if you're there at 5 in the morning, then you'll actually see how we make adjustments and all that stuff. So, it's just going to be a little more intimate, I think. I mean, I haven't been to a lot of other classes, so it's kind of hard to compare.
If I decided to sign up for this class and I'm there, Friday night, if I wanted to stay up all night with you guys are going to be up all night, and I can see exactly what's going down no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're going to be a time, like they were sleeping because the guru's got it. We'll all be sleeping. You want to stay up and watch the guru firing up, then you can.
It's probably not nearly as exciting, though, right?
Yeah, exactly. And just like in a contest, 5 in the morning comes around or 7 in the morning when you really, stuff's really starting to come down and ribs are on and you're getting ready to start your chicken. That's when you need to be paying attention if you want to learn anything. So.
Chris Capell.
So it's going to be, the exact time frame that we do. I mean, we're going to be cooking a competition, and all the students, will be there and able to ask questions about what we're doing. And the cool thing too is that other competitors and other students in the class will be sharing information, among each other. So it's just going to be a good old time. But it's a lot of, it'll be just like a competition. You'll be tired when you leave. I know last time, I think we only had 5 students at the first one. And everybody left right after we were done tasting the brisket. I'm out of here.
All right. So, by the way, we're talking with Chris Capell from Dizzy Pig Barbecue. And I mentioned it at the top. This is an all ceramic class. I'm actually getting some questions here in the chat room that kind of reference this. How will this translate to the folks, I guess, who don't own ceramic cookers, or should people that own ceramic cookers be the ones that are really interested in this class?
By all means, it doesn't matter what you cook on. You'll learn something here. So it's not. And as I said before, the actual cooking of the product is only 30% of what you do. And maybe a 25%. I don't know. I haven't figured it out. But and it all translates heat. And we talked about that too last time. We had some people that cooked on offsets, and we talked about how they would do it differently. For instance, in an offset, you would, especially if you're doing all sticks, then you have to wrap the thing earlier to keep the smoke, to off of it. Once you get your good bark, and you wrap it in foil, where on the egg you can go a little longer because you can keep that, you can keep the fire down a little lower and cleaner for longer, and it's a little more, has a little more moisture in there. But other than that, I think it all translates, and like I said, it's all the little stuff that you pick up, like how you trim the meat, how you choose the meat, what you do before it goes in the box, all that kind of stuff.
Chris, a lot of barbecue, so let's say all barbecue cooks are kind of creatures of habit. So, Is this something where you started out on ceramic cookers right from the jump, and this is just why you continue to cook on them because you have the experience, or have you cooked on other items in between and have always come back to the ceramic cookers because you like them so much?
I have cooked on a few other cookers, but it's really the Big Green Egg was not only the first cooker that I cooked on, but it's what totally changed my life. From a graphic artist to like a rub purveyor. That would have never happened unless I got, the egg. So like the egg came first. I mean, it wouldn't have happened otherwise, and it just happened that we were considering actually going to like a different, like a larger smoker, like an upright, insulated smoker. After like our first grand championship in 2004, and then we approached the Egg, and asked them about a sponsorship, and they were all for it, and we've had a great affiliation ever since. So. I have cooked on other cookers, and I truly respect them all because we've been beat by pretty much every different kind of cooker that's out there.
Chris, I just had Derrick Riches from bbq.about.com on first interview segment, so that'd be second segment of the show during the first hour, and he mentioned the fact that Big Green Egg was coming out with an extra large unit. Is this something that you've seen, and have you cooked on it yet?
I have not seen it in person yet. I think there was only a couple of them out there, and they just introduced it at the trade show, at the HPBA trade show. And actually, I'm really curious to see it because a lot of people were excited about the big eggs. Some people think, "Are you crazy? Why do you want to?" It has to be over 400 pounds.
It's 450 pounds to be exact, but who's counting?
Okay, that's the official weight, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think the news is still coming out for everybody on that one. And actually, I do look forward to seeing it and cooking on it. I think it would be a great rib cooker because we're cooking our ribs right over the charcoal now. We have been for a little over a year. And, direct over the charcoal. And like the XL, has been working awesome for it, but I'd love to get a little more space to spread them out and kind of work the hot spot.
Yeah, that's all right. Chris Capell joining me here on the show. All right, so obviously, point-blank question, costs of the class, and, a lot of these classes have, like, discounts for spouses or significant others. What are we looking at price point-wise, and is there any, like, discount for a spouse?
Okay, yeah, it's $550 for the class, and we do not have a spouse at discount because we're actually holding the registration to like 18 this year. And, so, we're going to keep it small. And so I think we might be the first class that's doing that, but there's no discounts for spouses.
Did you say 18? So like 2 less than 20?
Exactly.
Wow. How did you, look, I'm not very smart, but how do you come up with 18?
Well, just because I think that's about what we can handle, and we can handle more people. But I think it's just there's a certain number of people where the interaction kind of goes away, and it just becomes a teacher and class. So we just want to keep it to like an intimate class where everybody can really learn what's going on. People have time to ask questions, and we found, last time with a smaller class, there's a lot of interaction, and, who knows? I mean, I expect, probably after, a few classes, I'll be able to increase the size of it and feel comfortable, but for now, I'm just going to keep it to that size. 18, I don't know. I didn't look at the sky and say 18, but,
Chris Capell joining me here on the show. When are the classes again, and where can people go to try and sign up for them?
Okay, the class is on April, I believe it's April 9th. I should have my notes right here in front of me. But DizzyClass.com is the place to go. It's the weekend before the Salisbury contest. which I think everybody in the East is familiar with. But dizzyclass.com will get you there. Got all the information on the class. We have another one on November the 9th. We're pretty excited about that one as well. And so you can sign up for that there as well.
All right, so the one in April is still...
I believe it's up there now, but if it's not up there now, it'll be up there within the next couple of days.
Is the one in April still have a decent amount of spots left, or where are you at as far as enrollment right now?
Yeah, actually, I'm pretty sure we have at least 5 spots left in that.
All right, so do you expect a lot of East Coasters or regional people to come in, or do you see a good amount of people from wherever it is?
I haven't seen a lot of people travel too far yet. We had some people from Jersey here last time, so we haven't had a huge following from far away yet, but I'm sure that'll change as as the word gets out. And at least I hope it does. It's great to have people from different regions because there's quite a variance there.
All right. Actually, the date's April 6th and 7th. I just found that in a previous email from Brian. So April 6th and 7th, and then you have the one in November as well. So a couple different classes during the course of the year. Chris, before we go to break here, what are Dizzy Pig's competition plans for the year?
Well, we're gonna stay fairly local this year. We're gonna start off instead of it's going to be kind of a strange thing not to be at the Salisbury contest this year, but we're going to go ahead and change things up and go to Lexington, North Carolina, the following week, which is the capital of North Carolina barbecue, and see how we do down there. And so we're looking forward to that. We did well down in Eatonton, North Carolina last year, and it's not a state that we've typically done well in, but it's great to go down there in the barbecue country and, actually get some awards, get the judges' attention. And then we're going to head up to Fredericksburg, Virginia, which we haven't done before. It's an easy decision because it's real close by.
Yeah.
And then following up with Frederick, Maryland.
There you go.
And you go out, Chris Carter has been doing a great job with that contest up there. And so we're going to head out that way. And we're still trying to decide on whether we're actually going to head downtown to D.C. this year. That's always a tough contest. They have the... I'm sorry?
No, go ahead.
They have the brisket and chicken is on Saturday. You have to set up on Friday night after midnight, and then the brisket and chicken turn is on Saturday afternoon, and then you have the pork ribs and the pork on Sunday. So it kind of makes a crazy scene down there, but it's a neat place to go.
Absolutely.
And then we're thinking of going up to Covington, which is where we almost got blown away last year. I'm not sure if you heard that story yet about the derecho that came through there.
No.
Okay, yeah. Well, Covington. Actually, go to Pick and Corker's website or his Facebook page, and he's got some pictures on there. It was, 80, 90 mile an hour winds. It's pretty much, a couple of teams were taken out. Sea Dog, I think it was. Their WSMs blew away after they had put their meat on it. So that they started their briskets in their butts about 6 o'clock. The storm came through, and it took the WSMs out. The meat was on the ground, and the WSMs and the Gurus were down the road.
Wow.
So it was quite an interesting time, and all the vendors that were there had all set up, getting ready for the next day, and all their stuff was blown away. And they had no power, and the judges did the whole contest with no power. They actually did the score sheets in somebody's RV that had a generator going. So it was an amazing time, and the organizers been working real hard on it. So I think we're going to head out there again.
Wow. Well, bring extra weights and batten down the hatches, right?
Oh man, I'm telling you, even if you had the hatches battened down, that was a tough one.
Chris Capell joining me here on the show. Chris, just hang on here just for a couple minutes. I'm going to go ahead and get this read in for Barbecuers Delight, and then we'll come back and pick up the conversation about the rubs and I guess more the business side of Dizzy Pigs. So stand by for more Chris Capell right after this. Folks, as many of you know, I've gotten my little mitts on a pellet cooker, and the first thing I thought of was Barbecuers Delight wood pellets. Why? Widely considered to be the pellet resource for pellet-fired cookers. That's right, whether you're on the competition trail, weekend in, weekend out, or you're just a backyard guy just like me. Folks choose Barbecuers Delight wood pellets more than any other brand for their superior quality and flavor. And you should give them a try as well. You can find them at bbqrsdelight.com. Now, maybe you're not familiar with pellets. Let me give you a little insight here. When pellets are made, all of the air within that cellular structure of the wood is evacuated. It concentrates the wood into a very dense form, much denser than a natural tree, and compared to other wood flavor enhancers, the pellet will yield a more intense smoke more quickly, and that gives you that succulent smoke that you're looking for. Now, since pellets have been processed by sawdust, you get the pressure in there, it generates heat, so any contaminants present in the wood are eliminated. Gives you a sterile smoking wood product. It's got consistent quality. You don't have to soak it in water prior to use, anything like that. And it's easy to blend wood flavors and produce consistent results each and every time. So do yourself a favor. Head on over to bbqrsdelight.com. That's barbecuersdelight.com. Visit them at bbqrsdelight.com. Check out all the flavors that they have and stop fussing with the sticks and the chunks and get on with the pellets. Barbecuers Delight, the choice of competition cooks and backyard warriors just like me. And don't forget, if you don't have a pellet-fired cooker, you can take advantage of the pellet revolution on your gas or charcoal grill or smoker by grabbing that cast iron pot option. You buy yourself a nice sampler pack of the pellets, you load 1/3 cup into the pot, and then place that into your grill or cooker, and you are off and running, my friends. bbqrsdelight.com. That's Barbecuers Delight. Met Candy Weaver this past weekend as well, your KCBS president. Just a delightful lady, and appreciate the time we got to spend with her as well. Show sponsor. So bbqrsdelight.com. That's Barbecuers Delight. More with Chris Capell right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Now's the time where we give stuff away. People give us stuff on the show to give away at no money for you. That's why it's free. Send an email on its way when I tell you to. That's why we give stuff away.
Well, I guess I need to take singing lessons. Wow. All right, so here we go. Another giveaway, Mojo Bricks. Any item of your choice. You go to the website. You can pick out any item you want. Shop.mojobricks, M-O-J-O, shop.mojobricks.com. And you can pick out any wood item of your choice. Fred Gross will ship it to you for free. Doesn't get any easier than that. Send me off an email in the subject line. Mojo Bricks Smoke. Mojo Bricks Smoke. Spell Mojo right, for crying out loud. You're not in the third grade. Mojo Bricks Smoke for your chance to win any item in the shop.mojobricks.com store. Good luck.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, we are back, 877-448-0433, Greg at the bbqcentralshow.com. And we'll pick up our conversation here with Chris Capell. Chris, thanks for joining me again over the break. I'm getting a question in from somebody named Chris, so we'll take it or leave it. Worst thing you saw cooked at this weekend's contest. Oh, wait. Sorry. I guess that was for me. You weren't in the contest in Miami, Oklahoma, were you?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I'm going to say,
I've done one yet this year.
I have no idea how we missed each other since I was down there and if you were down there. Anyway, Mojo Bricks Smoke. David Garza wins the giveaway there. Congratulations to David. All right, Chris, so let's get back to the questions here. And we'll concentrate a little bit more on the business side of things here. Obviously, Dizzy Pig's Rub is, I have it here in Cleveland. It's in a number of different locations. When did you decide to get into the rub biz, which, really has seen a lot of growth as a whole? Everybody seems to have a rub out these days. When did you decide to get into it?
2000, I guess it was around 2002 when we finally got going, but I probably started thinking about it in 2001, late 2001.
And was it just like a something where people were saying, hey, you have some really great rub, you should get into business, or you just decided to get in it on your own?
No, it's actually like a long story, and the kind of thing is on, I think we have that like about us thing on the website, but it was basically, it just kind of happened. It was a friend of mine in Canada, Mike Kerslake. You were exchanging emails, and he said he had a couple of rubs he was playing with, and he had the name like Dizzy Pig. And like it may be something he was thinking about maybe doing down the road. And like I thought it was just a great name, and asked him if he needed a partner. And that's kind of how it all started. We took a couple of his rubs and kind of blended them and started passing them out, and people started talking, and that's where it all started.
All right, so, from what you started with in the very beginnings, how many flavors or blends are you carrying right now in the product line?
Well, right now there's really 13 blends. We got the core 11 in our original line, and then we have 2 in our new fusion blend series, which is kind of made more for high temp grilling and searing, and they take kind of international flavors and different regional flavors into account. But so altogether 13, I guess you could say.
Chris Capell joining me here on the show, dizzypigbbq.com. If you want to check out the flavors, maybe you want to order yourself some up right now. I'm sure Chris would not be averse to that as well. What are some of the best-selling rubs? I mean, you have, 12, 13 now, but are there a certain percentage of ones that seem to rate better than the rest?
Yeah, well, if you look at the, at the numbers, we have our Dizzy Dust is our best, selling rub. It's our all-purpose blend, so that's our best selling rub. Then there's the Cowlick and the Raging River are kind of just behind that. But actually, it's amazing. We were just looking at the pie chart the other day of all the rubs, and it's amazing, how evenly they sell all the way across. They're so unique and different from each other. People get their favorites, and it's actually quite surprising how evenly they sell.
Do you find a difference between what the competition cooks might be buying and what the backyarder cooks buy, or are you not able to really extrapolate that down?
Well, I can't really tell the difference between the competitions and the backyarders, but as far as the home cooks, you know what? It's a lot more competitors are buying this stuff than I thought would. When we first started. When we first started, I thought, this is a little different. I don't think that people who are trying to hit the least common denominator of the judges and try to keep it conservative, so you don't offend anybody, that these aren't the people that are going to be buying it. But it turned out over the time, it's a surprising amount of competitors are buying this stuff.
Of course, you're not trying to deny them from buying your stuff either, right?
Not at all. Not at all.
Is being out on the competition trail because A, you like to cook first and foremost, or because B, or because A, you are in the rub business and rub lends itself to barbecue, so it's a promo thing?
Well, I think it's kind of both, but the business is a great excuse to get out there. It's a great excuse to get out there and play. So yeah, I wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't for the business. I wouldn't be. I actually have a lot of respect for those teams that are out there that really don't have anything to gain for it, except for a trophy and an award and being out there with their friends. So for me, it's all about promoting the business, really. But it really is quite amazing. How many teams have you had on here that they're not really doing anything else for a business? That's just a hobby of theirs.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably got to be, oh my God, I'd say out of the, over time it seems to have, trended a little bit higher to, somebody's got something going on. But back in the day, I'd say if 90% of the teams or 95% of the teams that were coming on that I was interviewing had nothing to sell or they weren't looking to pimp anything besides maybe an occasional cooking class or so. And maybe 5% of the people were out there, and they were very upfront. They're saying, hey, we have this sauce or we have this rubber or whatever it is that they were selling, and we're out there on the circuit first and foremost to make sure that they know that this is for sale, and we're out there rubbing shoulders with them. And it sounds like that's kind of what you're up to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's the main reason we're getting out there. I mean, we want people to know about us, and like our sponsor as well. They've been taking good care of us for a long time, and man, the friends, holy cow. I can't even get started there.
I'm getting a unique instant feedback here, and I want your take on it. This person's wondering if you sell more product if you would attend those egg fests that Big Green Egg puts on versus going to a regular competition. Is that something that you take part in?
Yeah, well, we've attended a lot of egg fests. I've got a big stack of T-shirts on top of my cabinet, all different egg fests that we've been to. And, the cool thing about the egg fest is we're already represented there. Because we've got a lot of great friends and kind of a great following of customers that have used the egg. And, so I feel like even if we're not there, we're kind of there anyway. But I would love to get out and go to all of them. It's really tough to build a business now. I mean, I've got a staff of I think 12 people now, and I never really imagined, like as a freelance graphic artist, that I have, that many people, working under me, and like it's a great team, and I don't know, never imagined that, and I still can't imagine, can't imagine the future, and it's hard to imagine where we are right now.
I guess one of the things that makes you a little bit different from the majority of rub makers out there is the fact that you actually have a storefront, like a brick and mortar thing, in conjunction with your other distributing partners and whatnot. Is that something that is, in your eyes, unique, or is that just something I'm seeing that isn't necessarily the case?
I don't think a lot of them. I'm sure there's a few, but for us it made sense because we were building out a new facility. And actually, that's the one that we just moved into about 2 years ago. And I thought, well, why not take the space up front? It's only a small part of the whole building, but we can set up a store and we can sell all the stuff that we love, and we can interact with our customers. We can talk to the people who are Dizzy Pig fans, and we can also have charcoal and stuff for people who are looking for charcoal. And it's actually doing a lot better than I expected. We're getting a lot of people, even for being in kind of an industrial area. But it's totally like a secondary part of our business. And, I was just hoping we could pay the bills, by having a store, and it's a good way to interact with the people and, kind of have a front where people can walk in and actually talk to people and smell the spices in the air, so that was kind of my idea for it.
Chris Capell joining me here on the show, pitmaster of Dizzy Pig Barbecue Team, also owner of Dizzy Pig BBQ, which can also be found at dizzypigbbq.com. Chris, many people remember that you guys had a pretty substantial fire a little while back. You were able to overcome that setback and really continued to grow. How has things changed, and, what kind of a support did you get when that actually happened?
Oh, well, in my life right now, it's almost like, before the fire and after the fire, I kind of almost, lump everything into two categories. It was that much of an event that it really separated our life into two different parts, your pre and after.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about the fire was that I got awesome support. Brett Brown of Free Range Barbecue offered up his basement for us to mix the spices in, because at that time we were mixing them in our house. And then my niece offered to ship the stuff from there. So I don't know how we kept it going when we were living in a hotel. But for some reason, we kept it going. But the main thing that happened after that, though, is we all got a little bit stronger. And I had to depend on Gail, who just started for us at that time. I had to go and contract the building of the new house and deal with insurance companies and all this kind of stuff. And I didn't really have time for the business anymore, so I had to leave it up to Gail. And I had never done that before. I had been so close to it. So I learned to delegate, and to kind of, think about what's important. And I think that whole process just made us, a lot stronger. I mean, I would recommend everybody burn their house down.
Yeah.
I was a kid there, but it was surprising how much stronger we got after the fire. I mean, as a whole family and as a business.
Anything new coming down the pike from Dizzy Pig that we can expect here in the near future?
Yeah, well, actually, next week I have it penciled in for the first time in, over a half a year. I'm going to be back in the test kitchen at home, so I penciled that time off the calendar, and I've got some ideas. I've got the spices all, ready to go, and I've got some other cool blends. We're going to add a couple more to the Fusion series, which I think a lot of people will be excited about. And then for our original line, I'm looking at doing, kind of a traditional, done better. In other words, our all-purpose rub is Dizzy Dust, and a lot of people use that on the pork. But some people think the spices are too robust. You want something a little, simpler and more along the lines of a basic barbecue rub. So I'm thinking of doing something like that, but a little bit better. And we can really detect why it's better. But anyway, that's kind of what I'm looking to do, and I'm looking to get in there next week, and we'll see what happens from there.
All right, he is Chris Capell, pitmaster of Dizzy Pig Barbecue Team and the owner of Dizzy Pig BBQ Company. You can find him at dizzypigbbq.com. Chris, always appreciate the time, man. Thanks for coming on tonight.
I really appreciate you having me on, and keep on doing what you're doing.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
There he is, Chris Capell. Dizzy Pig, breaking it all down from business to the cooking class to what they have looking forward to in 2013 during the competition year. So looking forward to that, and continued success to him. All right. Quick break here. Straight away, we're going to be coming back to win the last Mojo Bricks of this evening. So if you're looking to potentially win Mojo Bricks, you are in luck, my friend. All 5 mini cubes coming straight up after this. I really don't have anything to say. During this, we're in a little transition. We're going to have a new sponsor starting up here week after next. You're going to be very excited for. Let's just say if you like charcoal, you'll like this sponsor. Yeah, baby. Alan Frankel loves the sound effects. Thank you, Alan. John Dawson, Patio Daddy Barbecue. That air horn blows. Amen to Mike. John, you can beat it. There you go. It's a mixed bag of emotion. Stephen DeFranco wants to come back in, but he loves guns, and he has shooting on Tuesday nights, which is kind of a bit of a problem, unless it rains. So we'll look forward to potentially having Stephen DeFranco back in studio at some point. So far, Chris Grove, Mark Gabrick, and David Garza have won tonight. Your chance to win Mojo Bricks Mini Cubes. Right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Now the time on the show when you give stuff away, gonna give it away for free at no cost. So get ready to send that email right now.
All right, your chance to win 5 mini cubes. That's right, a mini pack variety. Pack shipped right to your door for free, mojobricks.com. All you have to do in the email address is send me something that says, Big Green Egg XXL. Big Green Egg XXL gets you all 5 mini cubes. The mini pack, variety pack, shipped right to your door for free, mojobricks.com. Good luck.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right. Thanks again to Chris Capell for the last 2 segments, talking about rubs and classes and competitions and whatnot. Good guy right there. All right. Big show planned for next week. Looks like we got a winner. Winning the mini cubes. Look at here. It's a lady, Amy Levant. Wins the Mojo Bricks 5 mini cubes from mojobricks.com. Congratulations to Amy. It's a lady. All right. I'm going to guess, there's a lot of, there's some people that know how to work this email thing pretty well. Let's just say it like that. They know what they're doing. And they hardly take no for an answer. But somehow this Amy was able to beat out of them. Beat them out. I want to confuse that with beat them off. That would be really bad. Really bad. All right, let's wrap it up. All the way back in the first hour, Derrick Riches, bbq.about.com. Join me. Thanks to Derrick for breaking down HPBA. The grill bot is a loser, according to him. You can try it out if you got $70 or $100. Who am I to say no? Also, Dan Richard, Blazin Blues Barbecue winning Smokin At The Run. First time competition, and that thing has legs, brother. Legs. Then the second hour, Chris Capell joined me for the majority of the second hour, breaking down business, breaking down competition, breaking down classes. Thanks to Chris Capell, dizzypigbbq.com. Dan Richard website, blazinbluesbbq.com. And Derrick Riches website, bbq.about.com. If you have raw cast iron, scrape it off. As it cools down, hit it with Pam or Crisco, let it bake back in. Years and generations of rust-free service. Of course, September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it's your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.